Wednesday, December 28th, the Military Bowl, Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, Annapolis, Maryland. It is Central Florida and Duke, 62.5 -3 here, Ralph. I don't know. First thing that comes to mind with me, late December, UCF playing up in the Northeast. Watch out here. It's Duke or pass for me, Ralph. Are you liking anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo exactly what you said here. How about this? When you look under bowl opt-outs, up until this point in time, there is one team where there are none reported. No one in the transfer portal, and no one has an opt-out, and that's Duke. You have a coach that knows how to get his team there. You have a team that's had great success. Yeah, your quarterback has thrown some picks. He has a 20-6 ratio. He's their number one rusher as well. But you have a defense that's middle of the road, an offense that's above average. You look at the UCF. Plumlee's hurt. Remember, Plumlee got banged up. Plumlee has a hamstring injury. Well, when you've rushed for 800 plus yards and you're the quarterback and you need your mobility to be better, that's a concern for me. Mickey Keene is in the transfer portal, so he's out. You have a couple receivers that are out. You have a couple DBs that are out. So this is in my mix to be an actual play. Plumlee's the question mark that can play the game stronger, but I am with you. It's Duke or pass for me in this one.
Great breakdown there, Ralph. Robbie, are you liking anything UCF and Duke?
Yeah, I think that this is all motivational, guys, and the motivation all lies with Duke. Ralph described the transfer portal and some other things. I will say this. You've got Mike Elko in his very first year with Duke in a bowl game, motivation for him to win, motivation for his players to play. Riley Leonard, the quarterback here. You could make the case that he might be even a better quarterback than John Rice Plumlee simply because he's a better thrower of the football than is Plumlee. With Plumlee hurt, as Ralph described, it's a hamstring injury. If they do have to keep him on the sidelines, whether he doesn't start the game or whether he starts and gets hurt, it leaves them with a true freshman, Thomas Castellanos, 9 of 16 for 75 yards this year, no touchdowns, no interceptions. It's a very difficult game to put him in against a motivated Duke team. I don't think he would perform that well. Again, just to reiterate what Ralph said, UCF is without their leading receiver, Ryan O'Keefe. If you've watched UCF this year, he's a big-time receiver for them and an important outlet for John Rice Plumlee. I think, and Ralph, I should have asked you this. I actually should have texted you because I was curious, and I don't even know how you get numbers out of a database for this, but one of the reasons why I like Duke is UCF just lost a conference championship game, and I wonder about teams that lose a conference championship, then get an invitation to a minor bowl game. This is the Military Bowl, a very minor bowl game, against a non-brand opponent. Duke is not, it's not like you can get motivated because you're playing an SEC team or a big name Pac-12 team or, Big Ten. This is Duke. So I don't know where the motivation lies for UCF in this game, but I would venture to say that teams in this particular situation, off a conference championship loss and then heading to a minor bowl against a non-brand team, probably don't care that much and probably don't have a great ATS record in doing so. So I like Duke. I think it's probably the right side. Duke, by the way, for those who like to, play in game, Duke in the second half this year, guys, is 10-2 against the spread second half. That 10-2 just indicates how good the adjustments made at halftime by new head coach Mike Elko were. I think Duke's the right side here.
Hey, Drew, I just want to bring up, I don't have that number. I will say this. I'm looking at Mark Lawrence's newsletter. Mark put that conference championship losers are 8-2 as a double-digit dog. Not quite the situation, but, that's different because you're playing a better opponent than you said, Rob. But I will say this, for those that go back and look, how many times has the SEC champion or the team that gets put against the group of 5 team in the bowl game. They come down, they have a poor performance because they're one game away from a championship run. They lose that game, and now they're playing a group of 5 in the bowl game. Last time I looked, I think it was 3-7 ATS, where that big brother was playing the group of 5 that made the Power Bowl team, and they only covered 30%. But I don't have that answer, Rob, and it's nothing I can pull out while we're on the show. But right. I agree with you with, we've talked about motivation, and sometimes we don't make a big enough deal about motivation in these bowls, and those teams that come in and have a disappointing season versus those teams that are playing a bigger brother or an opponent it's rare that an ACC team is probably considered the little brother against a UCF team from the American Conference.
Like it, Ralph. Yeah, you bring up the kind of SEC team going against the group of 5. It brings to mind Auburn was that team. They were ranked number 1, and then they lost to Georgia and played UCF in the Sugar Bowl and lost. UCF blew them out, at least by I think Auburn was the favorite, and then UCF ended up winning the game outright. But I also bring that up because Gus Malzahn was the coach for Auburn going up against UCF, interestingly enough. But there is actually one angle here, Ralph. Malzahn was pretty good off of extended rest. I remember that at Auburn. He's been pretty good at UCF with extended rest. So I don't know. Maybe that's one angle pointing towards UCF. But I think that kind of the weather, I think, might be a little bit more important here.